to Blissfully Aware, the show in which three opinionated people discuss what's going on in fandom and nerd news in general. I am Bliss, and as always, I'm joined by my two lovely co-hosts, Kelty and Kendra. Hello!
Hello.
Hello.
And this week we're also joined by Dr. Major. Doctor, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
Recurring guest star.
Yes, Major, you have brought us something painful this week, I hear.
Oh, yes. So painful. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Unfortunately.
So yeah, season 15 of Supernatural is still going on.
Yep. Yeah, this is season 16 up in this piece.
The fandom that never
Oh,
dies.
God. No.
Well, it dies much like a Winchester, where it just keeps coming back.
And it makes no character growth.
Oh, zinger.
Sorry, I didn't get to eat today, so I'm shoveling my dinner into my mouth as we start the episode.
It's okay. We'll edit it to make it just sound like you're
No,
contemplative.
Keep this in. This is humanizing.
Cinema Verde. Okay, Major. Hurt me. I like it.
Oh, so, to recap, Supernatural ended with season 15 in November of 2020 after a filming and release delay due to the big panini. It has indeed almost been a full goddamn year, and the show hasn't died.
We're still having conventions.
Yeah. Is it the anniversary of, the confession, or is it the ending on November 5th?
Remember.
Shh, let's not talk about it. It's November 5th, yes, and we don't want to talk about it. Every 5th of every month has been chaos. It's not even funny anymore. So, there was the post-show angsting and recaps and the cyclical release of the last season in other countries, wherein the local translations variously did and did not make Dean Cass romantically canon.
Oh, to watch that saga unfold in real life.
It's beautiful.
That was like old school fandom drama in the way that I have not lived in a long while. That was enjoyable.
I actually, I appreciated it.
So glad you guys enjoyed our pain.
Sorry, Major.
So cons did take place in a form throughout the lockdowns. There were a few Q&A sorts of things over video chats, and Misha Collins was giving uncontroversial responses to some questions on Cameo.
Oh, yeah.
There were a few little uproars from the Q&As. This past weekend, a Supernatural Creation Con took place in person in Denver, Colorado. As is typical with Supernatural, there were several panels where the show's actors sat for questions. Let me preface this by saying that I have never been to a con. I would not give these people my money. And cons overall are just not my bag. I've never experienced the in-person insanity or the cringe of the Q&A sessions.
Whoa.
It's excruciating.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's painful.
Yeah.
I feel that way, and I've only watched clips. So, okay, that out of the way, I'm gonna go through this as much in order as I read about it, as much as I could figure out. So, it seems like on the first day, I think, it seems like there was a Jensen panel followed by a brief Jensen-Misha panel, as Misha jumped in at the end.
Oh, no.
Jensen, again, is Dean, for the uninitiated. Jensen is Dean, Misha is Castiel, Jared Padalecki was Sam. So that was the first one. A Jensen panel, then a Jensen-Misha panel, very small, and then a Misha panel. And then, I guess on the next day, there was a separate J2 panel, this Jared and Jensen panel. And then Misha had a panel with Alex Calvert, who was Jack on the show.
Aw.
Was Jack the other brother?
No.
He was Lucifer's son, I thought.
Oh.
Lucifer's son, correct.
Look at me,
Okay.
Adam.
paying attention.
Adam was the
And
other
that's okay.
son.
I'm gonna have to explain it to you for the worst reason. So just strap in. Okay. The true cringe occurred on several levels at the J2 panel, so yes, we'll get to it.
Alright.
In order. To start, Jensen mentioned that the finale mentioned the finale, and it was like roundly booed, and he laughed at that.
Oh no, poor things. Like,
Oh no.
at least the Game of Thrones cast didn't have to go on a world tour after their, like, colossal failure of
Yeah.
a final season.
That's
Yes,
rough,
yeah.
buddy.
He said that he hasn't mourned the show, and he hasn't mourned Dean, and that he isn't gone, question mark, question mark. And then Jensen mentioned that he'd like to see a comeback in as few as 3 years.
Mm.
So there it is. Yeah, even you know, he's
Okay.
hoping for things, he's planning for things. They're trying, I guess.
I'm charmed by Jensen's love of this toxic waste dump that is his life.
Yeah. Okay. So, he said that during Dean's death scene, there were plans to make Dean lay down as Sam cradled him.
Hot.
Jensen said that he fought this because Dean needed to be on his feet. If Dean was gonna die, he was gonna die standing.
That's such a fucking Texas man
Fucking
problem.
Texas.
It's
Men.
his fault
Oh my
that the
God.
stupid roofing nail killed him.
Rebar.
They could have like taken him off of the. They could have taken him off of the cross
Oh my
as
God.
and laid him
And
down.
then
boy.
done the Pieta pose. Yeah.
But you know, I'm kind of glad that they didn't do that as a
I mean,
as a Catholic.
if they're gonna go, just go. Just go full Jesus metaphor
No.
imagery.
Don't do it. No.
Well, yeah, and not so much the Jesus thing as the shipping angle. Frankly, a lot of the fandom liked hearing this because there are still so many Sam Dean truthers out there who frame the end of the show romantically
boy.
between the brothers.
I mean,
And they hate that, and people are like, this blows that out of the water. And I'm like, whatever, because it's fucking fiction, and Sam Dean fic is literally as old as the show, and frankly older than a lot of the people who picked up the show this year.
okay, so like, I have a question.
Yeah.
So like, I get that the incestuous Sam Dean pairing is very popular, and whatever. I have no judgment on that.
Yeah.
But are there people who genuinely believe that it's like
Yes.
Yes.
it's like subtextual in the show?
Honey.
It's like, oh no, it's they're dropping clues and secret hints, and they just can't go public with
Look,
it.
I hate to
It's-
crush your perception of reality, but yes, and also, there are people who insist, absolutely insist, that Jared and Jensen's wives are beards, and
Mm,
that they
yeah,
are
I
also
agree
together
with
in
that.
real life. Complete
that's fine.
believers.
like no, like I expect that level of crazy because like without like digging myself too deep into a grave here, that's a like thing
boy.
that's happened in real life. Like people have beards, like, or marriages of convenience or whatever. Not these two actors, obviously, and not for that
No.
reason, like, just to be totally clear. But that's at least, like, conceptually a thing that exists in reality. But the idea that, like, someone would write a story and film it and, like, secretly want it to be about gay incest, but they can't do it because the censors are shutting them down, so they drop hints into the text of the show. Like, that's like incest QAnon. Like,
I am incest.
it's this crazy it's this crazy breadcrumb trail. It's this crazy breadcrumb
I am
trail.
hearing your words, but I'm also seeing Kilty's face right now.
Guilty while she just very slowly
But here's
points
the
at
thing,
herself.
it's like this crazy conspiracy, this crazy breadcrumb trail. For what? For nothing?
I mean-
for a fake story about gay incest that doesn't actually exist.
In fairness,
Come back. You're talking about the supernatural fandom here, dog.
Kendra.
This is
Follow the clues.
I know!
uh,
I have an easier time understanding the people who want the real life actors to be sleeping together than I do understanding the people who they have like deluded themselves into thinking that also the show wants that. They just can't. They just can't do it because the man is keeping them down.
I think it's
So they're going to send them coded messages in the subtext of the show so that everyone in the know knows what the show is really about.
I think it's so sweet that you think that
Yeah.
there's some form of logic when it comes to supernatural fans.
All right. So
Sorry, Major.
this is bad enough without. Okay, all right. So after Cassiel's confession and him exiting the show in 1518, there was a bit in the next episode, 1519, where Dean is tricked into thinking Cass has come back from the dead again. He gets a phone call from someone using Cass's voice. Dean bolts up the stairs to let him in, and it's not Cass, it's Lucifer. And so an attendee at the con asked about the scene and what Dean would have done if it was really Cass on the other side of the door, and Jensen said that we get a glimpse of that when Dean ran up the stairs, and that it would have been a huge embrace. So again, this is post Cass's love confession, so he's once again either making it clear that the love was unrequited, or that the love was not romantic in nature. So again, pasting
That's
over everything.
heartbreaking. Just imagining poor Castiel the angel, the divine being, coming back from super hell, only to have the man he's confessed his supernatural divine love to give him a fucking bro hug and a manly shoulder pat.
Friend zone.
Yeah, friend
So
oh,
so all right.
Pat.
Strap in.
Turn
It
my
gets so
ass
much
right
worse,
back
guys.
to
It gets so much worse. You're not even ready. Okay.
Oh no. Oh no.
A question came up about Jack. And it's somewhat important that you know who Jack is. I know you guys have like a smattering of knowledge of who he is, so let me just make it clear. He's the son of a human and Lucifer. He was born during the season 12 cliffhanger, and at the start of season 13, Jack is not an infant. He's like a walking, talking, adorably confused teenager. The show plays it out that Kelly told him in the womb that he had to be strong because the world was going to be cruel to him. So he grew up immediately.
What?
Roll with it. Jack
Alright.
doesn't consider Lucifer his father. Castiel protected his mother when she was pregnant, and she told Jack that Cass was his father. So through the drama of the ensuing seasons, Jack variously considers each of the Winchesters, Sam, Dean, and Cass, to be his fathers. There's all sorts of like protective things they do for him, coming of age things, sacrificial things, loving things. So weird as it sounds, it did come off as kind of touching.
the Hellspawn's
I
three
love it.
daddies.
I love it
It's
immediately.
like Mamma Mia.
Adorable. And as a reminder, he's only a few years old. Canonically, he was born in 2017. So he's a toddler with spacey angel toddler brain.
Uh-oh.
There's so much more that I didn't even know about.
No.
This
Uh-oh. I don't like
This
where this is
established.
going.
I have to assault your ears with this little gem.
Oh no.
Jensen was asked how Dean would have acted if Jack had been a girl the whole time.
And I'm gonna go ahead and drop that audio clip here for y'all to hear for yourselves what he had to say about that.
My question for you is, how do you think Dean would have reacted if Jack's character was a girl and not a boy?
I don't think anything would have changed.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I can't think of a storyline point that would have been affected by
Joe.
gender. Dean might have had some extra glances at him had he been a her. But that's Dean's problem.
Okay, Jensen. God damn it.
Implying that Dean's womanizing impulses were so fucking out of control that he'd sexualize a 3-year-old who considered him a father.
Jensen, goddammit.
I thought the character of Dean had like matured past this in the last 15 years. Am I wrong?
That's my problem. Canonically, he has, but apparently not in Jensen's brain.
Oh.
I'm just trying to make funny, I guess. And
Yeah, maybe he was just joking and it came off as really creepy and weird.
But a lot of people justifiably were like, you know, you had this question and you gave an honest answer that's really supportive of the trans community and non-binary people, and then you geeked it. Like,
shot yourself in the
why
foot.
did you have to go the one step further? It really makes us feel like shit. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's valid if they feel like shit about that. It totally
Yeah,
is.
I kind of feel like shit about that. I mean, I like to think that he maybe just stuck his foot in his mouth, but that doesn't mean that you can't be mad about it.
No, and it doesn't mean you don't have foot in your mouth.
Yeah, you sure do have a foot in your fucking mouth there, bud.
Yep. Okay. So next panel was Misha's panel. Does a lot of I'm not supposed to talk about this, but Cass considers these people his family, and he misses them, and he was a little sad being alone in heaven, and da 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 da. So he does a lot of those things, pulling back and saying, I shouldn't say this, and this isn't canon, but this is how I feel about it.
That's a smart way to answer those questions, though. Like, as someone who's gone to, like,
is.
over a decade of conventions and sat through many a painful Q&A, that is a smart man's way to answer.
He's very smart.
Yeah,
That's why...
That guy has had some PR training.
Exactly. That's why he's the fandom darling.
He tends to say the same things over and over. Like, he really sticks to his guns that Cass was feeling and expressing more than familial, more than friendly love for Dean. He even said it before the show ended, as did one or two of the writers, that the fans weren't imagining it, and that there was more to the Dean-Cass relationship. And so, as far as he seems to feel safe saying these things, he does pretty much stick to his guns on those things. The panel screeched to a halt in the middle of another fan's question.
Oh, I know that feeling. Oh.
They were asking Misha about dealing with their own father's death when Jensen and Jared burst on the stage. According to what I've read, the fan was crying and they were dealing with the death of a parent. Some people said it was like specifically an abusive parent who had died, and they were having conflicting feelings, and they were asking Misha about this. And he tends to field questions about this just because he connects with people emotionally like that.
That is great
And,
of him. But oh my god, that is not the place or person to ask about that sort of thing.
Go to
Okay.
an autograph booth where you have some privacy. I'm sorry. Like, you can ask them, but maybe a little bit more private.
Okay. But
I mean,
but at the end of the day, no matter how you feel about the question, this person paid to get into the con
Mhm.
and asked their question, which was
Yep.
the
did.
question was approved, and they were at the mic, and they were in the middle of asking it, and it never got answered. And Jared and Jensen popped in, and
Oh my god! Oh, that's terrible!
so
Oh.
I don't know how cons work, so I don't know who would have been responsible for that. I'm assuming that Creation Entertainment, who put on the con, that was sort of a gaffe of theirs, telling them,
Maybe.
opening the door for them or whatever.
I don't know. Did it have a moderator or something?
I'm not sure how these things work.
Okay,
I really
then
honestly
who?
don't. It-
Several people aired then in that case.
And again, more people in the fandom have been to the cons than I have, so a lot of people were blaming Creation, and a lot of people were blaming the actors. So I honestly don't know.
Oh no, like I doubt they were out there like with their ear pressed,
Listening.
their ear pressed to the door, being
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, this seems like a really emotional, vulnerable moment. Let's go." ruin
I
it."
would buy that it's Creation Entertainment, because Creation Entertainment is a generally miserable company that has handled a lot of situations very poorly in the past. Like,
Yeah.
they'll step on approved questions, they'll suddenly take the mics away. They've turned people away who bought tickets because they didn't like what they tweeted. They had a gigantic data breach that they didn't tell people about.
Oh.
Oh shit!
It took place in
Yeah.
October 2018, and they didn't reveal it until spring 2019. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say it is a not uncommon thing to say you have one question and then ask another when you get the mic in your hand, because people are people. But all that other shit, I have no excuse for.
Anyway, Misha took to Twitter to make it clear that he'd gotten in contact with the asker afterwards.
Misha!
Bliss has the tweet.
So Misha says, I found the woman who asked the question later and tore a poem out of my book about repairing a complicated relationship with a dead father. I'm not a therapist, nor do I have answers to complicated questions like this. I hope she can get the support from people wiser than me.
That's
So,
gentle.
very soft.
He's such a sweet little fucking troll bean. I love him.
Let's move on to this horrific J2 panel.
Yay.
I hate to do this. So you guys read the transcript of this thing.
Wish I didn't.
Yeah, the videos and the audio have been circulating on Twitter for a few days. Jared and Jensen started by discussing their current projects. Jared is, of course, working on reimagining of the old Chuck Norris show, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Still happening, huh? Okay.
Jensen is going to be Soldier Boy in season 3 of Amazon's The Boys.
I am actually excited about that.
And he just signed on to a western called Rust. I have no idea what it's about. Someone said that they loved the finale, and Jared burst out, "You loved it? We both fucking died."
Same, though.
Which is like, said what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard me.
Yeah, that's why I loved it, actually.
Eventually, another fan asked when Jensen knew that the way Castiel loved Dean was romantic, deep love. Jared and Jensen, Jared in particular, decided to go hard on answering this. It was an absolute scattershot of every denial that popped into their heads.
I mean, why did Jared even answer that question?
That's the tip of the iceberg.
Maybe
there.
he just talks when he's nervous. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what that's like.
I don't get homophobic.
Let me go ahead and play the audio for y'all so you get to enjoy, with a capital E, exactly what happened just as much as we did.
I don't think Dean really ever knew until the very end there.
Yeah.
In fact, I know he didn't because I never played that. I would say when Jensen found out, or when it was kind of discussed internally, that it's interesting because I think romantic.
I think the point is,
I think the term romantic is being used because there isn't a term that necessarily.
He's junkless, you know.
Yeah.
I think the point.
I don't think lust is involved with the romanticism.
I don't think it's the point that they both have human male bodies, seemingly, and want to sleep with each other. I think the point is that, like, you can love anything. Like, it's a superpower. You can love somebody can punch you in the face and you can say, like, I love you, I forgive you. Somebody give you $1 million and you can go, I love you. It doesn't mean like I say that with my friends. I say it with Ackles, like, hey, love you, man. It doesn't mean like I want to take you to a hotel room. It just means like, I love you. And so that was the point of the relationship, story-wise, is that they could love each other. Sam and Dean loved each other. It wasn't a show about incest. So Cass and Dean can love each other. It's not a show about heterosexuality or non-binary. It's a show about, like, hey, you can choose to live your life with love. Not, hey, this means they want to make out. It's not about that. It's about, I can tell my son, I love you. And it's not that I want to do something to or with my son. I just love my son. My daughter can say the same thing. So that wasn't the point of that scene. The point was, you are free to love whoever you want. You can be heterosexual and love whoever you want. You can be queer, love whoever you want. You can be any part of the LGBTQIA, love whoever the fuck you want. It doesn't mean, sorry for my cursing.
You're good.
It doesn't mean you want to do something with them or to them. So hopefully Supernatural, in its 327 episodes, helped to have people love those around them.
I think that's really what was, I'll just piggyback on what he said in that, that the love that Cass had is heavenly. It was, he's an angel, so he's able to, I think, love on a level and on a plane that human emotion doesn't necessarily comprehend. And I think we might default to making it a romantic or a sexual love when I think the way that I kind of interpreted it. And this is the great thing about the show, and I think the relationships in some of these characters, is that they're open for interpretation. If you find identity in a character because of whatever reason, fantastic, great. If that encourages you to be a better person, or to love someone a little harder, or to forgive someone for something, then fantastic. I think that's one of the beautiful things about doing what we do, is we get to encourage people on a variety of levels.
To think.
And I think Cass's love was a love that isn't identified by humans necessarily.
We're sorry.
Yeah, that was a thing.
That was the thing.
I think, like, I guess I take back what I said about them having PR training.
Well, I mean, you said that about Misha. Not
I
about
guess
them.
only he attended. Yes.
The big deal with some of these responses, I can tell you, at least from my perspective, is that some of them are just not fucking canon compliant. And at the end of the day, you are still talking about a television show that had continuity. And so this is, of course, what I take issue with. There are those of us in this hell world who can spout off the canonical examples of why that doesn't work. Like, on a basic level, alleging that angels don't feel sexual desire the way humans do is bullshit. Cass has had sex canonically.
Oh.
There's been sexual, non-sexual, romantic, non-romantic love involving the angels. That's what you get when you're juicing a show for 15 fucking seasons. Okay?
I mean, Dean's fucked an
Yeah.
angel.
Like, actually,
Yes.
yes.
And she put her hand on the handprint. It was really fucking gay for being heterosexual
Super
sex. I'm never gonna get over that. I will die mad. Anyway, move on.
Jared's big throwaway, which is it has made an appearance before, is that Cass is junkless, which is canonically not true. Again, Cass has had sex.
Why do they say that?
Angels produce Nephilim canonically. He means that in the way that you see when in Dogma, at the beginning of Dogma, when Alan Rickman throws down his
Yeah.
pants, and yeah, he's junkless.
It's like a Ken
And the-
doll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Ken doll. And I love Dogma. I've seen it a million times, but like canonically they're possessing bodies.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
human
not the same in
bodies.
Supernatural.
The penis doesn't vanish.
It's a throwaway line in Supernatural, but it's not canonical in Supernatural.
Yeah.
So there's
Having
that.
to do extensive analysis of the canon of Supernatural, and a part of me resents that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm. That's why.
That's
I'm
why
here.
Major has the doctorate.
I appreciate
Bless you, Angel.
I appreciate you falling on this sword.
Jensen said that he didn't think lust was involved in romanticism,
Oh, okay.
which is a fantastic way of othering male-male relationships, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, getting into that deeper messaging going on here, like, it's one thing you could go the Mark Hamill route
The
of
Mark
saying
Hamill, yeah.
it open to interpretation. Like if you feel that way, if you think that way, and it gives you comfort, then go for it.
Yeah,
A-
I'm not
and-
going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, because they're not real.
Yeah.
They're not real. You can just say whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and like Jared directly says in that, I'm sorry, that wasn't the point of the scene.
Did you write it?
Why?
Did you write it, sir?
You weren't even in the scene.
Yeah.
You
Like-
weren't in the scene, Jared.
Yeah. And ultimately, what this is doing is erasing that confession. It's erasing the possibility of romantic male-male love. And I'm cribbing this language from somebody else I read, but the way they describe Cass and the way they're rewriting what happened in that scene, which was written by a gay man, is starting
No.
yes,
I
is
did
starting
not know
to
that.
smack of
Yeah,
outright homophobia.
That's rough.
Who
wrote that episode?
That's rough.
So
I didn't know that. Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Who wrote it?
Bobo
okay.
Barons. Anyway, at the end of the audio, Jensen is kind of like, it's an automatic switch to, man, it's good to be up here with you. Like, man, I love you. I
Yes,
miss you. You know,
I
like,
did notice that.
you know, like that all being said, he let Jared wrap up the point and then just automatically switch to being supportive of everything he just like, oh man, it's great to have you here.
I did notice that they just like hard left turned into basically doing everything but say no homo into the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I understand that a lot of the fandom is calling you gay. And I
For
understand
15 years.
for 15 years. And I understand that that might, I don't know. I understand logically that affects the male ego in some way. I don't really understand why. But like I get that you're wanting to protect yourself and your family as not being a beard. I get that.
Your wife and children who you love very much.
Who you love. I understand that. But
it's not a charade.
I understand that, but I think I need most of all the actors to understand that it's not real. It's not real. They're not real, and it'll be fine. You'll live. Like,
Well, I mean, it unfortunately gets like deeper meta than that, because now you've got fans on the outside saying, "Oh, you look at Jensen's body language. He didn't agree with anything that was going on there."
Oh
And
god,
they're
the
like,
body language
uh,
experts are
yeah,
back. Oh,
like-
dear.
and like
I wanna die.
victimizing Jensen. Like, there are people asking if Jared stepped into this question that had not one thing to do with Sam, admittedly, asking if he stepped into this conversation in order to kick up shit over the Twitter feud et tu Brute thing. You know, like, it seems to me, at least, as if a certain set of stan is doing all they can to keep Jensen off the hook for this, and like,
Yes.
not even just he didn't mean it like that, but acting like Jensen is Jared's victim.
Oh my god.
You've got to be shitting my dick.
And this is getting twisted
Man in
from
his
all
40s,
angles.
But that's fine.
But Jensen is a grown-ass man, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Jensen and Daniil's new production company, called Chaos Machine, has been working with LGBT advocacy groups, and they hired Renee Rife as head of Chaos Machine's development. She was a board member for the Warner Brothers LGBTQ+ business resource group and is a founding member of Out in Hollywood. So some people are even taking the angle that Jensen is supposedly visibly embarrassed by Jared's speech, because after doing this work to bring
mean-
diversity to his own company, how could he possibly be so close-minded in real life? Like,
He's from Texas.
this is an actual argument that I found going on on
I mean,
Tumblr.
I've also seen a clip from a panel he was on where he flicked the straw out of his drink and proceeded to talk about how there's no manly way to use a straw. So
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we're giving him a little too much credit
Yes.
when he's still a Texan white
He
man.
is
Yeah.
from Texas.
Like,
At the end of the day, yeah. Like, we can't read Jensen as Jensen or Jared as Jared because we don't know them in personal life.
Uh-huh.
So there is no reason to be out here fucking pretending like you can read their body language and their real motivations. The only actual thing we fucking have is the words they say.
Yeah.
Right? The things they
Yes.
thought with their brain and then said with their mouth.
So there is a Maya Angelou quote where she says, "When someone tells you who they are, believe them.
mm-hmm.
Don't try and unearth secret, hidden subtextual meanings out of a straightforward declarative phrase."
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I'm sorry, I feel bad, actually, like, naming Maya Angelou in this discussion of a ship in Supernatural in the year 2020 goddamn one. But it's always strange to me the lengths people will go to, even subconsciously, to try and take a straightforward declarative sentence like, I don't know, "I don't like chocolate," and that's not what they want to hear. So they're like, well, actually, if you think about it this way, this actually means that they really love chocolate the most, and it's the best flavor. If you just listen to why my subtextual analysis of this phrase is correct, and like,
read their body language when
and
they
read
say
their
that.
body language the way I say you should, and look at all the contextual history that they have with the flavor of chocolate, like, then you'll actually see that secretly, and I don't know what that's like, man. My brain don't work that way. I
No.
when someone tells me something straightforwardly, usually, I
Yeah.
find it to be true.
Yeah.
Going deeper on this, like, or not even deep, it's a very basic thing. Sexual
Going sideways.
sexual intimacy between men is good and perfectly normal. Claiming a gay couple's relationship is too otherworldly or even romantic but nothing more is straight shitting on the meaning of that moment.
Or somehow less pure than other
Yeah.
forms of
Yeah.
love.
He wouldn't
Like-
be like that because he's an angel. Like, okay.
like, the thing, okay, first of all, it's funny to me that, in a sad way, that basically the answer ends up being, like, Castiel is too Christ-like to love in a
Yeah.
sexual capacity. Like, he is literally too divine, apparently. It makes Jesus sad. The irony of that is almost too good. Secondly, like, I don't have the exact quote in front of me at the moment, but one of them, either Jared or Jensen, says something along the lines of, like, Castiel is an otherworldly divine being. His understanding and conceptualization of love would be so totally beyond what humans who, you know,
Yeah, that was
speak
Jensen.
the English
Yeah.
language can even attempt to describe. Like, we're kind of approaching, like, arrival territory,
Yeah.
where the ways in which, like, our lexicon shape our cognition. So fine, but, like, what they end up, like, that's a cool idea, and, like, that would have been an interesting thing to write about, you know, maybe in your show about supernatural entities.
I mean, in fairness, that's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault, but that's just a way more interesting idea than anything I've ever seen in Supernatural.
Thus far.
Thus far, yes. Anyway, but I like how apparently, when they say this divine, non-corporeal entity has a conception of love that we don't understand, actually what they mean is he loves just like humans do, except no homo.
Yeah.
It's a totally understandable and appreciable form of human intimacy, except for the
Exactly.
gay part.
Well, and what's funny to me, too, is they go on and on multiple times, at least in the early Angel seasons, to talk about how angels really don't have the same concept of gender in any
Yeah.
way. And angels just show up later after their other body burns out in a body of the opposite sex, and they're like, fucking whatever, I'm still Uriel,
Exactly.
who gives a shit? And nobody cares.
Not to mention that the day before, Jensen had fielded the question about Jack and Jack having a different
Jack's
gender.
gender identity.
Exactly.
you know-
Not even thinking about that, which I totally forgot until you brought it up just now. God damn it. Okay,
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Like, Dean, would it have made you feel better to see him in a dress? You know?
Well, then he would have looked.
Yeah. So there's been this line that I've seen, and I have no better way of putting this. Someone needs to ask them why they even did the confession scene at all if they were going to refuse to be normal about it.
Ooh.
I have been wondering this for a while.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, that's legit.
Like, why do it? Why do this to yourself?
Because they wanted
no
their
one
cake.
made
Yeah,
you.
They wanted their gay cake, and they wanted to eat the heterosexual cake at the same time. And, like...
That's too much cake, man.
And I
Human
just...
body can only have one cake at a time.
And I just don't understand why they didn't just make a bisexual cake and go with it.
It's on the show. They chose to put it out there. They've said multiple times that the show's ending was heavily debated and reviewed, and they put it out there. So why are they acting like the intentions behind it are a fucking state secret?
Right?
It's a CW show!
It's a 15-year-old CW show. The only people still watching it were the ones who wanted to see the angel and the sad boy kiss.
Or the brothers. Don't forget about
Or the
incest
brothers.
QAnon.
Yeah, well,
That would have been the real reveal.
That would have been
Let me tell
interesting.
you. The fucking veil comes down, and
I
the
mean-
secret incest QAnoners have been right all along.
they think they
Woo!
were because of the ending
Oh
of the
yes,
show.
because he died on his feet or something.
No,
No, 'cause
because they went to heaven together
Oh.
and
Yeah,
hugged.
'cause
They didn't.
Sam was unhappy his whole life until
Yeah,
he died.
Sam had to live a
Yeah.
shitty life with a
Yeah, but-
unmemorable wife and unmemorable children.
Blurry
wife.
With a beard. He had a beard.
With a beard and a bad wig.
Such a bad
Oh
wig.
god, the wig was so bad.
No, but I meant like the ending of the show, they're in heaven together,
They are, yes.
hugging.
And
that's,
driving their car.
That's
No homo.
literally that's basically literally incest directly on screen.
Okay.
is what I have been told
By the QAnoners.
by the QAnon.
Wow. Unfortunately, there was a Misha Alex panel. There are accounts, including video, that show a Creation Entertainment staffer attempting to stop an attendee from asking a question about the confession. Like,
Yeah.
her question had been approved, she was in the middle of asking it, and she was
Like-
stopped by the staffer.
Asking
And
a question at
me-
the con about the show the con
Yeah.
is about.
Misha insisted on allowing it, to his credit.
Good for him. Thank you,
yeah.
chaotic neutral Misha.
Darling weirdo.
Tumblr user Angels Watching Over posted about this and noted that it was absurd for Creation to shut down a question about canon, let alone when it's okay for Cliff to ask Jared about getting fucked in jail, but how dare I ask about love that happened in canon?
That's
Oh.
a succinct way to say that.
What?
This is gonna take some explanation. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I have to introduce you to Cliff Coasterman. He was employed as Jared and Jensen's bodyguard during SPN's run. I don't know what he does now because I blocked him like a decade ago. He was a meatball
I
fuck
mean,
for several reasons.
Bodyguard.
Apparently, sometime during a panel, Cliff asked Jared if he had made special friends the night he was in jail. A cute little prison rape joke between two bros.
Oh, in real life. I thought we meant like
An episode of Superman.
yeah, like a character in the show went to
No,
jail.
I forgot.
no.
I forgot Jared went to jail.
Jared was arrested for assaulting one of his employees at a bar. And he went to jail, and this was Cliff Coasterman asking him if he made any special
Classy.
friends.
That's
in real-
horrible.
Get your life together,
Yeah,
man.
so this was asked at the con in public during a panel, apparently. And that is allowed, but it's not, you can't ask about Dean Cass, you know,
Can't
for the
ask
20th
about a
time.
scene
Like,
in the well, not the finale, but you can't ask about a scene that they filmed
Yeah.
and distributed on purpose in the last season of their stupid show
That
at a
makes me-
con about the stupid show.
just as closing remarks on the whole con thing. Parasocial relationships. Big flashing light sign here. Not even Misha is going to explicitly say what he thinks the big confession was about, because you can't alienate a group of people from a franchise that is still out there in the world making you money.
Nope.
Either the group that hates it or the group that loves it. None of the actors are going to take one for the team. I have a couple numbers for you. 14 million, 13 million. If you Google it, these are the net worths of Jensen and Jared, respectively. These men are rich guys coming to do a job. Do we, any of us, honestly need some rich guys to validate our feelings about the media that we consume? Big question out there.
No, and that's what I don't understand. I'm never gonna need the validation of some straight guy playing a part that I have decided personally is gay. I don't give a fuck what you think. You're gay now. While you're playing this character, you're bisexual, because every character I ever watch on TV is bisexual. And nobody can tell me otherwise.
No one can tell you you're wrong.
I don't care if you don't think that. You are just an actor. You don't get a say.
I stopped giving a shit about what actors think, or have to say, since back in the days of the Super Hulock Wars.
Oh god.
I was at a convention, and a very particular Teen Wolf actor looked me dead in the eye. I didn't even ask the fucking question. And she said to me, that if you ship Steric, you're a pedophile.
Woo!
But,
Come out
And I
swinging.
stopped giving a shit about actors after that.
ma'am,
I don't experience it, but I get the impulse for your interpretation, your personal interpretation, to want that to be right or correct, giant air quotes. Want that to be the official way things happens, whatever that is. Like, I don't necessarily, like, need it for myself, because I say this a lot, and I've said this even on the show. The way a story ends up being written, I don't think is always necessarily the best way a story could be written.
yeah, Game of
There's
Thrones.
a lot of moving parts, especially in television and film, where you have competing interests and huge million-dollar budgets, and you just can't say or do exactly what you want all the time. So, what ends up being the final work is not always the best way a story could have played out. Fine. But I get the idea of wanting that.
Oh, yeah.
But asking an actor their personal opinion is also not the same as something being canon.
Yeah.
So, like, that one I don't get at all. I don't get cornering Misha Collins or Jensen Ackles at a con and being like,
And-
and
and-
tell me right now.
Yeah. And let me be perfectly clear on this, because the reason that I keep up with this shit is because it's so prevalent in the fandom, and I'm still in the stupid fucking fandom. I'm sorry, bros, but it is. And I'm not so down with the actors. I never really have been. So that's just where I'm at.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
That's valid. So, did we talk about the thing?
Yeah, volume
The boys
804.
stuck their foot in their mouth, as they are often wont to do, except maybe Misha.
He's got, again, a total outsider's outsider to the Supernatural fandom. He does seem to have a certain amount of, like, grace in how he deals with fans who are perhaps over-involved. And every
Yeah.
once in a while just loves to absolutely troll the fans who are
Yes.
perhaps a bit over-involved.
Misha Collins, I believe, has a shoe-shaped trumpet that he plays. Where, like, it's not actually putting your foot in your mouth, but he just gets to
That's a very...
play that role.
That's quite the
Ooh,
metaphor
evocative.
you mixed up for us
I liked
there.
that.
Yeah,
I thought that was adorable.
Like,
Thank you.
I was imagining.
Thank you,
I was
Major.
imagining like a shoe-shaped trombone, and Misha Collins is some weird Pied Piper type figure.
Yeah, good.
and
That's
he's
the image I wanted you to
leading
have.
all the true believers off to a hole under a mountain.
Okay, well, that got
And-
a little weird.
Yeah, like
It was more...
I don't know. Like he is probably like incest QAnon. Like he is Q.
Yeah,
Probably. Like
He's incest Q.
Well, no, he's more angel human Q.
No, that's what he wants you to think. That's
That
what he wants
motherfucker's
you to
on
think.
Tumblr. That motherfucker's on AO3. We need the screen
exactly.
names.
That's how deep it goes. Oh god, that would be fucking funny. Fucking man, imagine the episode we're gonna have when Misha Collins' AO3 account gets leaked.
I will send Misha Collins a personal email. I will
Yeah.
pull my I have a podcast. Do you want to answer my questions? And he might
Oh my
answer.
God.
We'll see.
I mean-
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that is a non-zero chance of
Yeah.
getting a response.
Do not have me
Yes.
on for that episode. I don't want to talk to Misha Collins.
Why you gotta be so mean to Misha Collins?
I feel like I would put my foot in my mouth. I really don't want to.
I don't embarrass myself in front of my cool angel friend.
Well,
Anyway, I think we talked about the thing. Did we talk about the thing?
yeah, sure. We
Yeah.
talked about the thing.
We tried to you tried to close out this episode once already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Does anybody have a happy? Because I have a happy.
I'm reading a book called The Plot by Jean Hanaf
Hanf Correlates.
Correlates. and it's pretty good. I'm not very far in it right now, but it's very accurate. As somebody who went to multiple creative writing workshops, everybody is a pretentious douchebag, and that's kind of the point. You're not really supposed to like any of the characters, but one of the characters is convinced he has the best plot, and he's gonna write this book, and it's gonna be like a showstopper.
It's gonna blow everyone's nips off.
And it's gonna blow everyone's mind. And apparently, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
I have started reading a book as well. It's called Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. And what if the zombie apocalypse started in the middle of the Civil War? And it follows a black woman who goes to a school for zombie fighting. And yeah.
Oh, so it's like Pride and Prejudice and zombies, but seriously.
No, it's
kind of.
it's way better than that. I'm not even like halfway through it yet. It's just fucking awesome.
Well, I went to the Renaissance Fair this past weekend, and that was fun and everything. But the best part was on the way home, we stopped by the St. Francis Wolf Sanctuary, and I got to see a bunch of rescued wolves and wolf dogs and a dog that thought it was a wolf that the ASPCA keeps threatening to put down if they try and give it back. So now it's just a dog that lives at the wolf sanctuary. So it's really cool. They have an Instagram where you get to see all the wolves and you get to learn all about them. And it was probably the highlight of my entire year. And I absolutely cried because I love wolves. I love wolves so much. Anyway, well then, thank you so much, Major, for coming and suffering through this with us yet again. Another painful supernatural drama. You were my angel. I love you.
Dear God.
I'd rather not be.
Hopefully this will be the last time we need your expertise, but we know better than that, don't
I
we?
will refuse to see. I've already said this. I will not see.
I'll have you on for something better next time, Major. I promise. How about that?
Alright. That's fine. Thanks.
Well then, until next time, you can find us online on Twitter and Instagram at Blissfully Show. I post links to our YouTube there. If you're watching us on YouTube, hi, hello. Give us a like, a comment, a subscribe. Tell me what you think of our idea of whether or not Misha Collins is incest Q? I don't know.
Don't tell us
That's
that.
what we arrived at, baby.
Don't talk about your opinions on that. I don't
That's a
wanna hear it.
joke, by the way. I just want to be fucking clear. That is a joke. I don't believe that Misha Collins is incest QAnon.
No.
Just covering all my bases.
And then, yeah. Until next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Like, do you ever encounter a weird, crazy fan and you're like, well, at least like that's not the one I have a restraining order against or something like that?
I mean,
Like,
Misha seems to fucking love it, so...
oh, he's like a trickster spirit. He just loves the chaos. And
Misha is Loki. Misha's a Loki variant. There you go.
don't even put that into the universe. Don't even
Keep that the fuck in.
Don't even speak that fic into being.
Keep that the fuck in.
Ugh.